Way too much turkey yesterday. I gotta say, I ate so much yesterday, I feel like a putty patroller. Yes, this is Moroni Prime yet again with another video review. This one is for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Putty Patrol, or as it's also called, Putty Patroller. This is for the 2009-2010 line. This is the 6th review in a series I'm doing on this line. This figure is in the same scale as the other Rangers, as you can see here. I have now since found out it is 4.5 inches, roughly. I haven't actually taken time to measure it myself, but that's what people are saying. Different size than like your Marvel Legends and your G.I. Joes. So, yeah, still not much you can display it with, but they display well enough on their own. The Putty Patroller is kind of a unique case in that due to him, I was able to find out that the molds are similar to the Rangers. What I mean by that is, with the rotational boot and glove, which the articulation is the same as the Rangers, by the way. I probably won't go over that. But I happen to think, with it being a Putty Patroller, they always used to fall apart in the show. So I just happen to think, I wonder if they come apart. And sure enough, with a firm tug, you can pop off the legs, the forearms, and the head. You can also do this with the other side. I'll try to keep them separate so that I don't mix up right and left here. That's the last thing I need to do. And you're left with a torso. Again, same butt print, 12909. Some people say it's a serial number. Some people say it's a date. I'm tired of worrying about it. It's on there. It's all the same number. It's on all the figures. But by doing this, I got to thinking, if the molds are so similar due to their articulation, I wonder if the same would be true for the Rangers. And sure enough, let me get the Black Power Ranger here, the Mastodon Ranger, for demonstration purposes. Pull. Sure enough, the boots do come off. Now, it's important to note with this, you may be tempted at some point to pick up a spare Ranger and a spare Putty Patroller and a, oops, can't seem to get that off, but that's okay. The forearms do come off. I'm just having a difficulty here. Anyway, moving on. The pegs are not the same size for the Putty Patroller as they are for the Rangers. So you won't be able to create those Putty Rangers that we saw in season, I believe, 1 of the show. Where the difference was that the Putty Rangers had the dark gray gloves, boots, and belt. If you recall, that was during the Green Ranger era, before Lord Zed. And yeah, that's this same Putty Patroller. I don't know yet if they'll release the later incarnation of the putties with the Lord Zed shield over the chest. If you recall, that was season 2, and in that they had to actually smack the Z symbol on the chest, as that was the weak point for those putties, as opposed to just hitting them any old where, like with Rita Repulsa's Putty Patrollers. Keep in mind the plugs are kind of tight, so you want to be careful that you don't damage your joints when putting these back on, or cause stress to the plastic. They're fun if you want to pop them off, but I wouldn't go doing it a whole bunch. Just to be fair though, I'll go ahead and do the articulation as well. Rotational head movement, spinning around. Now this patroller, the neck and head are a different style than the Ranger helmets, in that the neck, I don't know how well you can see it, is actually part of the head as opposed to a part of the upper torso. Therefore, it allows for the lateral head movement as well, and tilting side to side. So you can actually cock the head to the side of the putty a little bit, kind of like they used to do in the show when they were kind of prancing and dancing around. You know, doing their little bubbly voice, getting ready to attack the Rangers. I'm going to spare you my impersonation of that voice for today, anyhow. But I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm referring to. Also, something I'm not sure on is the stripes on the torso here. I remember them being there, but I don't recall them being uneven. I seem to remember 2 on each side. Again, it's been a few years since I've actually seen the show, so I don't really remember for sure. But also the belt buckle, you'll see, is the star symbol. It's like an upside down star. These also I don't seem to remember from the Rita Repulsa putties. Not too clear on the Lord Zed putties. I don't remember them for sure. I know they had the chest shields. That may be a remold coming up, and the belt may have carried over from that design. It's really hard to say for sure. But as I recall, they didn't have belts in Season 1. Also, you've got your black stripes on the shoulder joint. You know, same as the male Rangers there. You got your lateral and rotational shoulder movement, your elbow, and of course your rotation in the forearm there. Same old song and dance. Lateral and rotational hip movement, bend at the knee joint, and rotation at the calf. Now, the Putty Patroller, another way it kind of sticks out as kind of an odd piece in the collection are the accessories that it comes with. Now, one would think with a putty, you know, the accessories would be like an interchangeable hand for like the wrecking ball style hand that some of them would have on the one arm, or something of that fashion. But what is packaged with them instead are 2 Power Ranger weapons, oddly enough. One of them is a blade blaster that has the Thunder Slinger attached to it. This is all one molded solid piece. I'll get Billy's blade blaster so you can kind of compare a little bit. Same mold to a point. Same sort of detail until you get to the back portion here. Then starts the Thunder Slinger. If you recall, I'm at 8 minutes. I'm going to make this a 2-part review. This is fantastic. If you remember the Thunder Slingers, they were the items in that box at the top of the hill when Tommy and Jason, during the Green Ranger era, were trying to run up that hill, all the while defending themselves against Titanus, who at the time they didn't know was their ally. That was one of the few times you also saw the Green Ranger voluntarily loan out his dragon shield to another Ranger, this being the Red Ranger, who wore it this time, where the Green Ranger had the Red Ranger's power sword. Upon completion of this mission, Titanus, who was guarding the Thunder Slingers, then joined the Rangers team and completed the original Zord trio, if you remember right, enabling them to create the I'm sorry, not the Thunder Zord, what am I saying? The Ultra Zord, which was a combination of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord. I'm not going to call it Mighty Morphin Megazord. I'm not going to call it Dino Megazord. It is the Megazord. The Dragon Zord, and Titanus as the Carrier Zord. The other accessory that he came with was the Power Blaster. It is slightly less detailed than the individual weapons. I will give you a better overview of this in the next review that'll continue this into part 2. We shall see you shortly. This has been Moroni Prime, again, wasting your time.